that. So there's.
Well, let me, when I settle down my children next week, try to get a copy of this. When I get started, okay, I'm very interested, and I do know about Java. C++, I don't do it for a long time. But Visual Studio, I did it for a long time. But he is right. Once we get this done, if we can have some data, or even send a data, or to simulate data, mock-up data, we need to do something. Or this guy can send some data on, and the back end have an engine process and send back to here, and display it.
Let me make sure that my run configuration isn't looking for...
Is that part of your research?
No, it's part, you don't, I think
Your personal interest?
I was a software engineer previously.
What is it?
I was a software engineer.
Oh, you were software.
So I know all these things. I was designing something in India.
Software engineer, not a great profession. I'm a software engineer now.
I know. That's why I picked up my
Because everybody hates the software engineering department because they're like, because if you work at a company, you're the software engineer. Everybody, you know, you're the person in charge of trying to make something happen.
We're talking more. Because let's get this done. Everybody.
You guys see what the second 6 minutes versus 2 run. Well, maybe it's already. Yeah, it's I do have a copy of the app on here. Let's go with that. Simulator's good.
So anyway, so plug out on the cell phone, and then you go here, and pretty sure it has, so I think,
So this is the PR thing that we set, and so the home screen should be security coded.
So you get John Doe,
This is how we can say if we recorded a reaction or not. So if we were to look at our intake info, so say we all ate a pizza, you know, you could put the date. I don't want to change this too, but I couldn't find an easy way to do that. This is awful.
So what do you use Android Studio for right now? Or you that's just some software?
It's a nice platform to help just develop it quickly.
But you used it for developing something else?
No, this is the only thing I've ever developed in Android Studio. I would have rather done this.
But what do you develop? What are you developing? Besides this, let's say this is not something you do every day.
Nothing. I would use Visual Studios. I use Visual Studios every day for my real job.
Oh, okay.
So I program in C++ all day. So that's a lot easier. So, but again, the issue with C++, so you could choose what kind of food you had. I don't know, pizza is kind of a grain, I guess, although there's vegetable in it. If you took any drug, are you going to be doing this all the time at the same time? And then you can hit save, and then it tells you, okay, well, you know, you might have a probability of a 40% probability of a moderate reaction. And then we ask the user, well, did you really have this? Default, this should be blank, and it will be. But, you know, then we ask the user, well, if you ate it anyways, did you get a reaction, yes or no? And so what this does is that this then sends it back to our database and says, okay, did we predict or not?
Just one real quick question. This studio is kind of similar to those Java development environment like NetBeans,
so you can
Eclipse.
So Eclipse is what I actually use for C++ development. I love Eclipse. But
that's not my question. What I'm asking is, this guy obviously got a very smartphone. Would it be kind of similar to those?
Yeah, it should be similar to Eclipse.
Got a database, all this kind of connection?
Yeah, that's what I've read. And in fact, you can configure this on Eclipse and do your development on Eclipse. So how it works from a technical aspect is that everything that you see on the screen is saved. It creates this XML file, which are these sort of activities, and it's got a nice little thing to render it. So here where it says, you know, layout. So these layouts are good. What are you doing?
What's your background?
I mean, I have my bachelor's degree in engineering, but I did my master's in biology.
Yeah,
I did lots of
Rendering or something like that.
all on the last job.
I just graduated 2 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That's weird that that's so zoomed in. But anyways, it's, is this? Oh, that's zoomed in. Bizarre.
But I've done a lot of
There we go. So, what happens is that you put it on the screen. So these are little XML files that come in. And this is just for the Android, whether you're using Eclipse or whether you're using a Java thing. And so then Android, at least in the Android Studio, what it does is it has these activity classes that are all in Java. And then you can wire it up from there. In the XML file, if you look at the actual XML file, it has certain indicators that you can wire back to the functions here. Whenever you start a new screen, the onCreate method is called by default. This begins to write out your layout, and then everything that's in your layout, you're going to wire up from the XML file back to here, which is sort of the activity class. I don't know, these guys have such weird names. The activity classes.
Well, let's say they put a sensor on the smartphone. The sensor can get into the analog signal. We need to turn that into digital in order to let this guy record it. I know all those because I have a process control back there. I work in the back. Do you think at this time they take those digital signals? See, sensor is the first thing. Is anybody working on the sensor?
Yeah, Ron is working.
About Ron, the electrical engineer.
Yeah, we need to kind of get together because I don't care what. If we can really connect this whole thing,
Yeah,
we come out something.
yeah.
Okay? Yeah, we come out something. Because we prove our theory, this can be done. Then we go in, refine it, do whatever we want to achieve.
But for sensors to get in, we require funding. Because sensors have to be prepared, it has to be tested, so we require funding. So that's why I was talking about the image process.
Yeah, we even do a lot of what called calibration. That's another thing.
So we require funding, real funding. But the image processing is difficult, no doubt, but we can do it because it's computing work.
So the way this is wired right now, you guys can't see this because the emulator crashes, but if you clicked on take picture, it should be wired to your camera so you can take a picture.
Yeah.
That's actually not too terrible to do, but I just put in a dummy.
It is impressive.
Just put a dummy picture in there, and then it'll just spit out different results on the reason results pages, which I did in a very lazy way, being 100% honest. I just made another layout with the results in there. It's not good programming at all to do that because you want to have some sort of data transfer communication.
Yeah, actually we can have some kind of month data and showing there's a table, say that these are the components, after we send all this, in the back end we got an engine or something, we can analyzer, this is
What we do is that when we take a picture, we will develop a histogram, which color is how much
and all kind of different possibilities.
Yeah. And then
you have a
database, and the database will send the information. Okay, this is matching. Pick up that and send
well, you still need an engine over there.
very
To do the sorting, filtering, that kind of stuff.
This will do one of the there's no reason it can't. But that's it. That's the simple demo. And so it doesn't have a huge user interface right now. I don't know that we need one or what else, you guys want to add to something like this, but right now, it's basically images processed. My idea, and I haven't told you this, Mark, is that when you hit the picture button, that deploys the sensor at the same time. So we have one entry point for all the data, other than, the intake button, which says, okay, well, I can give you some categorical information about what we're having. But, if I get on my phone and I want to take a picture, when I'm in the app, so it's wired this way when I'm in the app. When I'm in the app, I deploy all the sensors. Everything that we have, I think it was Ram that mentioned that all the different sensors on the smartphone. So you have a magnetic sensor, you have an accelerometer. And this is now getting to the real interesting part of the science, like what do we do with allergens? We're talking about just food allergens, is what we're focusing on. Do we have any other detection on something like that? Or I don't know enough about allergens to answer this question, but are some allergens polarized in a certain detection that we might be able to detect them magnetically? The accelerometer is probably useless. I can't think of any good way to detect certain things. If we had infrared technology, we'd be able to get a temperature back out. I don't know what all the other sensors were.
Already we have a infrared sensor already on the phone. They can detect when they take a picture of a person, they tell which part